It is here at the Christ the King College, Obot, a small locality located approximately 84 kilometers from Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon, that all started. We are in the years 1988 and 1999. Sister Bridget Mewulu, then member of the Congregation of Religious Sisters, Girls of Mary, assumes the position of the principal of this college. Suddenly, she is confronted with a somewhat strange phenomenon. Many pupils were not paying their school fees regularly.
Each time I send away the interns who constituted the greatest number of pupils of this establishment, some go and never return. They always say that their parents are very sick. The few who come back come with empty hands. Money hardly comes in. I took a few number of children to accompany me where their parents lived. Indeed, I found couples sick, some of them in their final phase of sickness. There were more than 30 people lying down awaiting death. Among these people were the parents of my pupils. I took them to the hospital. They were examined and were given medications. But Dr. Freeman said to me, "My sister, you know, all these people here will die. There is a new disease called AIDS. There is no medication for it. They will die." In just 1 year, many orphans were recorded. As I lived in the neighborhood, I witnessed the situation. I could not send these children away again. I got an idea to launch community farms whereby the proceeds from the sales from the college plantations would be used to compensate for the school fees. I told myself, these children that I am grooming in the college study freely while working during the holidays and the vacation, and others. That gave me a push. That is why I decided to take care of them. Take care of AIDS patients and the orphans who are victims of AIDS. I saw the far and wide of the situation. The first person in Cameroon to pronounce the name orphans of AIDS was me, and everyone took me for a religious lunatic.
She is not a lunatic. She just received an internal call, but a difficult call which places her in a dilemma, whether to stay with the Girls of Mary congregation or to follow her new voluntary vocation, which she loves. Pushed by her passion, she finally chooses to take care of AIDS patients and orphans who are victims of AIDS.
When Sister informed me about this project, I was struck because she, a religious of that time, had to work according to the directives of her superiors. And how could she feel the gravity of the AIDS and the importance that was there to take care of orphans who were victims of AIDS? Then I just said to myself, there is an intuition which is really remarkable.
Remarkable intuition for a noble cause. It is with the strength of resistance acquired in scouting that gave her the courage to go into the most difficult and poor districts of Yaoundé, the capital. Not only was she sensitizing on the dangers and consequences of AIDS, but more especially giving relief to the patients and orphans of this terrible pandemic. And in her cherished voluntary service, she discovers the horror of the highest degree: the abandoned patients driven out of the world of men.
Whenever I go to visit a patient who is living in the same house and whose room is just near, I ask those in that house, "How is the patient?" They tell me that since morning, no one has crossed there because Everyone was afraid. It is me who most often announces to them that that patient who is in the next room already died. Finally, it became my problem, and I was obliged to attend every burial. So one day, we were in a burial of a woman. Her husband had already died. The burial was over and everyone left. One small child came and held me by the dress like this and said to me, "Mom, I want to come with you." When the others saw this, they came around me. I looked around to see who would come to take these children who had remained with me at the gravesite. Nobody. Everyone had left. I took all the children in my car and we went into my room. It was at Nicoleton. It did not even have a window. 2 weeks later, I had followed a patient. When I arrived at her house, because they had given her a room behind the house, a very small room, I knocked on the door. No one opened. I then pushed the door. I found out that the lady had died. But she was lying with her son, a 6-year-old boy, who did not even know that his mother had died. This scene upset me. I did not know how to tell a small child that his mom was no more. I walked the child gently. I told him we should go to the center. He called, "Mom." I told him that Mom was asleep, that we should be going. I carried him in my car and brought him to my room. That was the 5th child. And I went back to take care of the dead body. I therefore began with these children in my room, a small room without a window.
Despite everything, Sister never gets discouraged. She continues with her new apostolate unperturbed. In addition to taking care of patients and orphans affected by AIDS in the district, she also attends meetings and seminars on this terrible pandemic. One day, an expatriate volunteer visits her and discovers, flabbergasted at the hurt in which she lives in with these orphans.
"Sister, is this where you live with these children, with all this odor?" "I mean, it is the same way that I lived." She told me that it is not healthy living with these children in a small room like that, and that it was not even good for myself. She told me that she too does not have money. She asked if I could not at least construct a little house, even with plank. I told her I want to. I can do it. She gave me a little money, and that was the beginning of the reception center.
The dream of the sister started to become a reality. It became necessary to legalize the structure and to find a name for it. As it is always the case, the ideas came. Some changed, and finally it became known as Centre d'accueil de l'Espoir. With the passing of years, the demand became increasingly pressing, at the point where the religious found it difficult to choose who to serve. She realized how difficult it is to beg in order to assist others.
I made many requests which all failed. I said to myself, it would be if I address myself to Caritas European. It is like that Father Jean-Claude souhaite. He was a state council here in Yaoundé. He also knew about what I was doing in the quarters. He said to me, "If you remain here in Cameroon writing letters requesting for assistance, you will not have anything. It is better that you move from here. You go to Europe yourself and knock on the doors of organizations. I will help you to pay the plane ticket. If you succeed in your efforts, you refund me the money." He told me how to go about it, and that is how I began traveling. In the course of my travels, I met a Spiritan priest, Father Phil Louis Marie, in Paris. He told me, "Can you show me your projects?" I showed him the projects inter alia. He told me that when he will come over there, Since I am missionary in Central Africa, as I will be going to Central Africa, I will stop in Cameroon to see what you do. Indeed, he came. He asked me, "Where are your offices?" I told him that I had no offices. He laughed. He told me that when you are creating an association, the first thing is to have an address. He told me, "Request even for an old garage. If they give you an old garage, put your small table, put your chair, and you write Centre d'accueil de l'espoir. That is it. Have an address." I rented 2 small rooms in Dakar to create the offices. A small room was to expose my documents, my educational material and everything. The other small room was to accommodate the seropositive people, the children and people who wanted to come and meet me. There were still other writings on the fence, written Centre d'accueil de l'espoir. At some point, Father Friyu called me. He told me, "I felt sad when I was over there in Cameroon. I know an organization that helps. They call it Pro-Victimize. I will write a project for you. I would advise you to look for an old building somewhere which can be renovated." That is how I found the old buildings where we are. Then the project succeeded, not for the construction, but for the renovation, because we snapped and sent to Switzerland. Pro-Victimize agreed to renovate.
Despite all the public awareness campaigns carried out in Cameroon, AIDS continued with its devastations. A team of German and Swiss journalists decided to make inquiries in the poor areas of Yaoundé.
I met Minister Moniko So. He said to me, "My sister, I have in my hands the Swiss-German journalists who want to go to the quarters to see how the fight against the AIDS is being carried out in Cameroon. And nobody can do it. But I'm informed that it is only you who can't do it." These Swiss-German said that they would like to move with someone from morning till the end of the day, and they would do it for a week. I told them that if it were even to go to all the quarters for 1 month with them, I was ready to go. We would leave in the morning by 8 a.m. and return by 8 p.m. When we went out for 3 days, they complained they were tired. They said that it was okay, that it was enough like that.
A few weeks later, a film on the fight against AIDS in the poor areas of Yaoundé was diffused in a Swiss television channel. The feedback was positive, and the immediate repercussions were reported to the sister by a Benedictine father of the Montfebe monastery in Yaoundé.
"My sister, I have a small thing for you, a small envelope. A Swiss lady who sends this money to you." And the Swiss lady said, "When you travel next time to Europe, you should try to see her." When he gave me the envelope, it was a sum of 800,000. I was very happy. I now had what to buy food with for the children and to settle small problems.
The appetite comes with eating. Sister Bridget Miwulu undertook a journey to Europe known as Harvest. It was an occasion to become acquainted with the Swiss donor in the Principality of Liechtenstein.
She welcomed me so well. She told me, "Your images were played here at 1 o'clock in the morning." When they said in the news that they would show a black African religious from Cameroon working in the districts of Yaoundé, and they gave the hour, I said I would look at this emission. I did not only watch it, I recorded it. She then told me that she works in a small organization. We will go and watch it. They projected it and everyone came to see it.
If, for example, as I am her, and people know my state, know it very well, you would have heard how they would begin to sing, "Oh, it's here, oh, it's everywhere."
They then asked me bluntly, "What do you need?" I told them that in Efulan there is no water. Then they asked me again, "So you want a drilling water?" I said yes. They asked me, "How much is drilling water?" At that time, drilling water costed 15,000 francs. So I told them 10 million. They thus signed the check there and then. That same day, the woman said to me, "We will go and meet your vicar general." We projected the images. The vicar general saw every little bit of everything. He said, "I see the children don't have good accommodation." He then asked me, "Do you have any project for the construction of the center?" I gave him the project. He told me it is a very big project. I will look for a partnership. Monsieur Germany and I also will seek another financial backer so that we can construct the structure. They realized the first part. They constructed a very big building. One December, the building went down. I sat down here in the courtyard because I became speechless. I saw the door open. Who was that? It was one Eric Linder, a Swiss, with 3 other Swiss. They became 4. They asked me, "Sister, what is the matter?" I started to pour out tears. I showed them the house. They told me, "Sister, you are really someone blessed by God. We have enough money in our account of our association." That is how the Swiss constructed the ground floor and the first level.
In the final analysis, and in spite of the difficulties encountered, Sister Bridget Mewulu seemed satisfied to have sacrificed herself for more than 30 years towards the service of those that life had refused everything.
As long as one cannot live, one cannot avoid this shame, one cannot have good results.
With a measured ego, she remained assured that she had given herself a quarter of her responsibilities, and the rest of the 3 parts she dedicated for the success of these children, orphans from AIDS, and to the vulnerable, which she rightly put it that nobody dared to assist. With empty hands and a naive audacity with which she declared the war against AIDS, as well as physical and moral misery, the only legitimate war to be carried, which is worth the troubles. All these kids whom you see here arrived in this emotional factory at the age when the children still believed in the Father Christmas. A people whose troubles are "I am hungry" and of empty bellies, resulting primarily as a result of families without bread or nothing. Here, life proposes to them another perspective, that of the love to which all children of their age aspire and have a right to. Every day that God created, the devoted and determined caregivers try to cure in them the deep and sometimes repetitive scars that AIDS and life have left on them. They try to let them understand their past, which was sometimes difficult and sad. They plant in them the seed of love, to play together, eat together, to rise together, study together, pray together.
Each time I come here, I am filled with admiration to see the development which this structure has brought. Centre d'accueil de l'Espoir. At the level of infrastructure, it is obvious. A few years ago, one would not have imagined that there would be a building of 2-3 levels. But it is there. even the work made to accommodate the orphans of AIDS, to accompany boys and girls, and to assist in their social integration. It is admirable.
In an effort to be effective, Sister Bridget Miwulu decided to be active in all aspects involved in the fight against AIDS in Cameroon. The initial procedure was placed in 3 phases. The first phase was the Temporal Hope Center at Efulan in Yaoundé. Its initial role was to accommodate the orphans from AIDS, the vulnerable children, and then proceed to their social rehabilitation or socio-professional insertion. The second phase did not only involve the selection of the children in difficulty for eventual partial or total care at the Temporal Reception Center, but also educating and sensitizing on AIDS in the poor areas of Yaoundé. Third and last phase was the CEPAS, located at Nkwabang, a suburb close to Yaoundé. Young people between the ages of 18 to 32 years became family heads in an early stage. They received training in agropastoral business. The direct consequences of these 3 phases was the structure changed its name. It became Association de Centre d'Accueil de l'Espoir, a recognized public utility association in Cameroon, and which enjoys the special advisory statute from the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. And it should be noted that its assessment up to this point, considered to be positive, is the result of a collective work.
We have been congratulated. The board of directors, the technical committee, the general direction, the members and people who work with us have congratulated us. For 30 years, the children that we had here in the center, they were 5, 9, 12 years. Today, there are many whom we have reintegrated. There are some who are even category A2 civil servants today. There are others who learned a trade and who are now operating in their premises. But with the current economic situation, because we live what these families live, we find many today who have higher teacher training certificate, but do not have jobs. We advise them to quit. Of course, they quit and to settle. They do not have any support to settle. And at the level of Caritas European, they tell us frankly, they do not have any more money. What should we do? Should we close?
Sister Bridget Miwulu is not the kind whose destiny can be violated. So the beautiful adventure, the great adventure will continue, especially as the harvest is abundant. Up to date, more than 1,000 children have found happiness at Centre d'Accueil de l'Espoir Yaoundé. And these children have never forgotten those who had held their hands at the time when they needed it most.
I arrived at the center when I was 14 years old. I was in Form 1. I was enrolled in a school. They paid for my training.
I really want to thank the sister for what she has done for us, because she has very much helped us in our lives.
I am in level 3 at the University of Yaoundé 1. I'm studying for a degree. The Centre d'Accueil de l'Espoir is a place really one finds what one really needs. The educators take care of us normally. They take care of us like their own children.
I am in level 1 at the University of Ngwakele studying biosciences. So since I was at the center helped me really much. And I say thank you to Reverend Sister.
Since 2009, the center supported me, be it morally, be it material-wise. At the academic level, firstly, I studied biochemical sciences. Therefore, I have a master in public health. Without the reception center, I could have not made this breakthrough easily.
Sister decided to take care of me at the level of schooling. She does pay my studies from secondary school right to the university. I can only thank Sister for all that. Also thank the good God who placed her on my way.
I was groomed at Centre d'accueil de l'Espoir at Efulan since the age of 9 years. I received a type of education which made me what I am today. I really choose my vocation, a profession in which I can really handle. As you already know, it is a beauty parlor. In fact, I'm an expert in cosmetic aesthetics. And really thanks to my husband who is here, an enterprise communicator, this company has progressed and I hope that it will progress even more. I am a mother, I am a wife, and I have a company.
She has a value which a woman needs. Apart from the physical beauty, there's also the interior beauty which counts. In fact, she has all the values and above all, the fear of God. And that is the most. And I think this is what has actually attached me to her.
In fact, I will say thank you to Sister Bridget Meulu.
I thank all the partners who supported us. I thank firstly the Foundation Partage Luxembourg, which has been supporting for nearly 30 years, as well as the friends in Luxembourg. I thank Caritas Italian and all other European Caritas, as well as the Italian Episcopal Conference. I also thank especially the Congregation of the Holy Spirit Fathers, who accompanied us since the early hours of the birth of this work. I thank Father Louis-Marie Friou and all his fellow members who have never abandoned us. The partners, we had them. I think of Pro-Victimize. I think of Action des Trois Rois in Germany. I think of Monsieur Germany, Monsieur Akene, Monsieur Munich, the Vicariate of Munich, and the Vicariate of Les Istiens.
You do not need to thank me. I did it for God Almighty, and we did it for God Almighty. That is clear. It is not now that you must be there on your knees. Thank you, sir. That is not the case, but nevertheless, we will make efforts, and we ask of you for your own efforts. Promised? Okay, it is good.
I launch a vibrant appeal for the partners to come and join us to support the children who are always in need of assistance.
On ne se connaît pas, mais je voulais vous dire merci. Si vous saviez combien vous avez changé ma vie, sans vraiment le savoir, vous avez fait de la magie. Moi qui ne croyais plus en moi ni en l'avenir. Combien de fois ai-je voulu tout foutre en l'air? Je n'avais plus la force et l'envie d'aller faire ma guerre. Je n'avais plus le souffle pour faire tourner la roue. Jusqu'au jour où le destin vous a mis sur ma route. Oui, c'est vous qui m'avez réanimé. Grâce à vous, ma flamme s'est allumée. On a tous un jour eu ce moment de magie, croiser ce héros malgré lui qui veut sauver une vie. Un mot, un sourire, une histoire et l'espoir fleurit à tous ces héros. Malgré eux, je voulais leur dire merci. On ne se connaît pas mais vous m'avez tellement appris. Vos mots, vos sourires et vos larmes ont sauvé la vie. Vos combats m'ont appris à encaisser les coups. Et votre persévérance à me remettre debout. Vos médailles ont redonné vie à mes rêves de gamin. Vos valeurs m'ont appris ce qu'est vraiment être un humain. Vous êtes ce second souffle qui m'a fait tourner la roue. Je remercie le destin de vous avoir mis sur ma route. Oui, c'est vous